Yo, class, the Proctor is in session today. We got Alabama left tackle number 74, Kadyn Proctor, 369 freaking pounds. The guy's a gargantuan, a monster. You betcha, man. The more I watched his tape too, the more I kind of liked Kadyn Proctor, and I get the hype. There was also a lot of hate because he's from Alabama, and offensive linemen from Alabama automatically get the red card of hate.
And it is a red card for Zidane.
For some reason, it is what it is. But I want to go ahead and go through game by game, 8 games that I've watched from this past season. And we'll talk the good and the bad. And at the very end, we'll go through with those grades. Okay, we're going to go grades for each section that I have listed off. So let's dive right into the film here. Number 74, if you need a reference, here he is. You don't really need a reference. He's just huge. So, and I don't mean that in a good way, of course. But let's start talking about with Kadyn Proctor, how strong he is. He is so powerful. The big thing you're going to hear this, though, is you're going to hear some contradicting things when it comes to him about his strength, because some people are going to say his strength profile is really bad. This is the problem, though. It's not a strength issue. It's a leverage and hand placement issue. The thing you're going to notice with him, look at his hands. They're wide. He's losing this. This is not a good position. His footwork is a mess, too. But when you're in something like this, I don't care how strong you are, the low man wins. That's really how it goes. When you have a defender that's just controlling right down your chest and your hands are, look at where his hands are. Those are not anywhere near inside the chest plate. Those are outside, way outside on the shoulder blades. That's not going to work. Okay, you need at least one hand on the inside to make sure you have that strength profile. And that is why he loses a lot of these reps, is because of that. Once again, look at those hands. They're wide. The base wasn't good. He loses the rep. Another one. Look at his footwork's all over the place. Not a good base. And his hands all over the place again. I know it's a little bit tricky to see. Even this one, this is even not the worst one to show, but he loses this rep. He needs to do a better job countering these rushers. He's now because remember, he just controlled the inside of his chest super easily, so he pushes him off of him and wins that to the inside. The Michigan game, it gets a little bit rough, and you're going to see Derek Moore beat him quite a bit. But let's just go back to this one, and it just shows you a little bit better because we're going to see from a back view. Look at the hands here, and he's just kind of trying his best. He has no counter for this dude. He's late, too. He's slow with his hands. You notice where his hands are? He's not ready to go. Those hands right here, that's in a really bad spot. He needs to punch, right? You cannot allow this defender to punch you right down the chest like that. He's got no counter for it. And that's going to knock anybody back, and especially edge rushers to the next level. You're going to get knocked on your butt. So you've got to do a better job with your hands, being able to fire in there quicker. So it's a technique issue to me more than a power situation when it comes to Kadyn Proctor. He does a good job here. And that's what I'm saying. When he puts it together and punches on time, he does it. And this wasn't even perfect, okay? But he does have the left hand on the inside over here. So he's able to do a good job countering on Derek Moore. And it's not even perfect. We're going to see some better reps. Now, run blocking wise, he is a vicious down blocker. Vicious, okay? He can make some crazy maneuvers. He does have some heavy feet. We'll take a look at that right here with some of this stuff that he has. First, you're going to notice, look at those hands. You don't want to be like this, right? This is not you're not doing a dumbbell, press or nothing like that, or a butterfly, should I say, right? This is not butterflies. You need to be inside. And once again, maybe one on the outside, you can get away with that. Some offensive line coaches teach one hand on the outside, one hand on the inside. It really just depends on your coaching. But I don't know any coaching that would recommend doing this, bear hugging.
I'm smarter than the average bear.
Okay, you're going to get penalized. You're going to, whiff. You have heavy feet here. You got to keep your feet moving. And that's one thing. He just doesn't have the quickest of feet. He has enough explosiveness to get out in depth. He can lose some speed, though, and you're going to see that throughout his film. He'll lose some speed. At the second level, he has some really fun blocks. He's not the best athlete. He is a little lumbering, as I mentioned, so it's not going to be super amazing. Now, here's what I was saying. This is when it all goes right for Proctor. One hand is a little bit on the outside, but at least he has one hand on the inside there. It's solid, and you see him have a decent enough base. He anchors down right here, and he just powers him, man. He's really good. He's so strong. Run blocking. There were so many reps that I was saying to myself, okay, I cannot just include this because it's just over and over repetition of him down blocking. He's so good at that. Another little pass blocking rep. We're gonna get through some of these. Just pretty simple. Okay, look at how strong. And this is another thing. How strong he has one of the strongest right hand leads that I have seen. Even left hand too. This guy is like he's benching him with one hand. He's putting his other hand by his waist, which is crazy. It is crazy. That is not something you see very often. Once again, just this is when it goes right. Okay, when it goes right. There he goes again with that right hand lead. This is critical, and he needs to utilize this because he is a big man. He does have a little bit of heavy feet. With him having such, and he does a pretty good job actually with the footwork right here. And as I mentioned, his redirecting skills aren't terrible, but that right hand lead is so powerful. He knocks off his helmet. He's just he's so vicious, so violent. I mean, it could be a little bit of hands to the face, and then partially maybe Tyler Booker too hit him a bit, but I always love to see that little knockdown, right? Spin move gets beat to the inside. I want to see those feet keep moving, man. You cannot see. Look at this. This is where he loses this rep. Why are you taking this far of a step? You should be stepping over here and not stepping back here. That's not a good look. You're going to lose to the inside, and we're going to see that multiple times throughout his film. Losing those inside counters, being better with his footwork is critical. Those strong hands, man, when he gets leverage on or when he holds you down, it's over. The vice grips that he has, man, they can lock you down for good. You can't get out. It's Riker's level of protection with him. Once again, just showing off that run blocking ability. If you didn't see this one, sorry, this one is kind of tight to see. Let me a little back that one up. But basically, he gets to this linebacker, the second level, squeezes that off and gets a nice little lane. We can see this too from back on another pass protection rep. So here's a run blocking one. Not quite a reach block, but just pushing his man out there, second level, just taking this. I mean, linebacker or DB for a ride, should I say DB? The little pass blocking, vice grip hands. So that's really, in a nutshell, some things. And you see versus the Georgia guys who are really, really strong, he can just maul guys. Another down block, as I mentioned, he is just so good at that, pushing dudes back. And these defensive linemen, they cannot, if you do not beat him with that speed to power or the speed to the edge, if you get locked in, you're going to struggle. Now, this was one of my favorite reps of watching Kadyn Proctor. And just get ready for it, okay? If you didn't know it's coming, you know it's coming. So he's just going to basically bench press Jalen Walker, and I can't quite tell who that is right there. I can't see the number at this moment, but this is unbelievable. This is not, and look how wide they get too. It allows Milroe an extra 2 seconds. 2-3 seconds of time. Maybe slightly got the hold there on that right shoulder, but still so impressive. That is one of the most impressive reps you are going to watch from an offensive lineman to be able to do something like that. Insane. Another little redirecting. Good job there to be able to hang in and anchor down. Now, a little bit over the skis here. You don't really want to see this. I know Vach Lombardi loves tactical leaning, and I get that. You have to know when you can lean, and sometimes you can get away with it versus like stronger, less twitchy guys. So it's fair. You have to know, but at the same time, I don't want to see it be a reoccurring thing. And they're just showing off some of the lack of lateral agility, good strength there. When he puts it together, as I mentioned, when it's there, it's really good, right? When his feet come with him, when he brings his hands to the punch, he's unstoppable. He really is. And the torque that he generates with his hands. Oh my gosh. It's just booming, man. You see that torque. Oh, the lockout and torque that he has. Good little stunt drop off there. Oh my gosh. Just knocking dudes to the ground. He's just so powerful with his hands. Here's a good little pull out block, bringing that number 24 to the ground. One hand inside, one hand on the outside. Not too bad there. This is versus James Pierce. Good rep. And, look at the power. Again, just showing off those powerful hands. And that's another thing, too. Even though he's maybe has lumbering feet, if he just is able to punch somebody, he's able to knock them off a rep or at least recalculate by punching somebody. Then he's able to reset his feet from there. Here's one versus James Pierce. Wide hands. This is where he does struggle. The speed to power with wide hands. And we know James Pierce is not the biggest guy, right? But, I mean, granted, Milroe was also stepping back 10 feet into the pocket or whatever. So that's not, it's not insane or nothing. Bit of a little high hands there. And that goes back to the hand strike Accuracy, not great. The accuracy still needs to improve. You see him. Here's another lost rep. Not a good position to be in right here. If you're striking, he misses. He kind of ducks his head into the block. His head's lowered. And yeah, you can't. That's not good. That's a lost rep and a hit on your quarterback. So that goes back to the accuracy and all the proper technique that he needs to develop. Continuing on the pull block, just missing there. As I mentioned, he's not the most laterally gifted. This is what I was just talking about, that these quick guys, this is what he needs to do. Quick set him, punch him, and then you can reset your feet out here to allow you to give you an extra second or two to bring your whole body there and then re-mirror and match and be able to protect your quarterback. Great kick set, or a quick set right here by Kadyn Proctor. Gets out quick on this defensive lineman, changing up his set, and just dominates that. That's a great pocket. You're giving Milrow 10 yards of protection. Second level block, pretty good here. Here's another one. Look at the redirecting skills. He's got good lateral agility. He can get out there and redirect. Not the fastest, as I mentioned, but he's able to latch on there enough to number 14 to get a piece. Lack of quick feet. Loses a bit to the inside. Not a horrible loss or anything like that, but it is a bit of a loss to the inside. Continue along. Loss to the inside. I want to see him, even though he's trying to use that right hand, he's just put too much weight in his weight transfer. At 370 pounds, it's hard to weight transfer that much, and you're going to lose those type of reps. Second level here. Gets to the linebacker. Good little punch. Knocks that guy a couple yards back. Here he is again on a little combo to the second level. Gets enough of him there of weeks. That's going to do it for the film. Let's get into the grades. All ever important. Can you be a good pass protector? Can you be that blind side guy? If you have right-hand quarterback, of course. But you talk about the anchor, grip strength, and the strike power. Those are things that he has. And he has those in abundance. One of the strongest punchers, anchors in the class. But you're going to hear a lot of different results. In my opinion, I just view it as more of a leverage technique issue with him. He's got to get better, making sure he's the low man. Remember, he's 6'7", so it's not going to be easy for him to always be the low man. That's why he needs to focus in on his footwork and his hand technique, his strike accuracy, which to me are both key areas that he has to improve upon. You improve those, I don't think he's really going to have that much of an issue with his anchor or anything like that. That's not a problem in terms of you go one-on-one when he has actual proper hand technique. He has absolute insane vice grips. So that to me is not the issue. It's the technique, the footwork, and the leverage have to improve. And then the contact balance, it's okay. He's able to fight enough, especially for a guy his size. He's not the best, and we see some of that those inside losses, so that's partially to account for it. But he's certainly not the worst. His mirroring skills got to get a bit better as well. I think that goes hand in hand with conditioning. Stunt blitz pickup, I thought he did a pretty good job. I only saw him lose twice on stunt to blitz pickup, and both of them were a little questionable. You could make the argument maybe Tyler Booker should have moved over a little more. There's always things there, and sometimes it's just really, really good stunts from a defensive opponent, and it's nobody to blame other than just great coaching and stuff. Run blocking wise, like I mentioned with the pass blocking, his power is exceptional. That drive power, and there were so many times where I was just watching, I didn't even include it in this film study, that he has insane down blocking prowess. So if you're in a man gap scheme, you're going to love this guy. He's not a zone blocker. I'll tell you that right now. If you're a zone team, don't draft him. It doesn't make sense to draft in a zone team unless you're absolutely desperate for an offensive lineman. But his torque too, the torque, what I mean by torque, you take your hands and you can throw them to the ground. You saw that in pass pro. You saw it in the run blocking department. It's excellent. Sustainability is pretty dang good. It just comes down to the hand technique. But when he's locked in, his sustainability is excellent. Second level blocking, the reach blocking, that's not going to be his forte. He's okay on pulse, so I did give him a C there rather than a D because he can do basic combos and he does have enough redirecting skills to get out in space, as we saw from some of those reps. But there were also plenty of reps that he didn't show, that he didn't, wasn't quite able to be successful on those blocks. Punishing ability, definitely really good. Very, very good punishing ability. He's a little bit like a punisher out here. Solid enough balance, but he is on the ground at times, so I had to knock him for that and give him more of a C- range. It's not the worst situation. I'll give him a little bit of a pass. Athleticism-wise, his first step needs to get better. I saw him late off the snap way too often. He has to get better with his snap quickness. His slide quickness, same thing. Got to get better. Got to keep the feet moving. That's going to help you out not lose so often to the inside. We saw him lose quite a bit. Even though you've got a really, really strong right-hand lead and you can make up for it a little bit, you got to bring your feet to the party. And that goes hand in hand with the redirecting skills, which is not terrible. I might even bump that up a little bit for a guy 369 pounds. It's actually pretty good. Second level speed, not going to be super impressive again. I don't see him blowing up the combine or anything like that. I should restate those words. I don't see him like going crazy at the combine. You got to be careful what you say nowadays. But anyway, yeah, I don't think he's going to be like insane with the combine or anything like those numbers. My grade for him though is a second round grade right now. Now I'm fully comfortable giving him a first round mock draft grade because the talent, right? This guy, if he puts it together, he's only 20 years old. His birthday was back in June. So he's going to be, if he goes to the NFL next season, he'd be turning 21 right before the season. The guy is super young. I can give him a little bit of a pass on the technique front. That's just something that typically comes in time. But we do need to see that next level, that next step this season. That's going to do it, though, for Kadyn Proctor and my overall evaluation. And certainly let me know what you think. Are you lower? Are you higher on Kadyn Proctor? It's just tough because you're going to see some of these reps, especially versus Michigan, OU, our Mason Thomas and the Derek Milmores of the world with the speed to powers. Those guys really take advantage of a guy like Kadyn Proctor, or they did last season. And that might be on highlight film. And you're like, oh, that's not very good. But I do think there's a lot that's really there. And I get why, the Dane Bruglers and a lot of these NFL scouts are going to like a guy like Kadyn Proctor. He is going to be so difficult if you can put together that technique, if you believe in your coaching, to get this guy where he needs to be, because he's a mountain of a man and he's got crazy good arms. He's probably got like 35. I'd say at least 34 inch arms, but probably close to 35. I think it's actually 34 and a half is what his measurements are. Something like that. I'm pretty sure I remember it like being 34 and a half, but he definitely looks like he's got 34 plus inch arms. So yeah, anyway, that's going to do it for Kadyn Proctor. I hope you guys have a really good day. And like I said, let me know which prospect you want to see and we'll be rocking. I'm going to probably keep it going with some offensive linemen though. So I'll talk to you later.